Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Book Time with Elvis with me, Mark, and I do hope you're all doing very well indeed. Christmas is almost upon us. I hope very much that you have managed to get all your shopping done in good time, and your requests and things put into whichever superhuman being delivers your gifts from whichever country you happen to be in that celebrates this particular festival. I, for one, am very excited. I do enjoy Christmas. Elvis's gifts are all done and ready. Father Christmas assures me that he received Elvis's wish and letters, although I had to, of course, write it for him, but he was happy to dictate it to me. And speaking of letters to Santa Claus or Father Christmas, it was certainly something I used to enjoy doing as a child. They could be a bit long. I guess it was lucky that we didn't still write on parchment or anything like that, because I'm sure I would have had one of those long rolls that, came down with a massive list on it. I remember when I was in primary school, we used to actually write letters to Father Christmas, and this was in Bermuda, and you don't really. It's hard to imagine Christmas in a place with no snow, unless of course you yourself live in such a place. Australia would be a good example, I suppose. But Bermuda, of course, didn't feel particularly wintry. But we still kept with the Anglo traditions and Anglo-American traditions, I can say, I suppose, in Bermuda. And we had every night in the run-up to Christmas, I can't remember if it was throughout the whole month of December or at least like 2 weeks prior to Christmas, there was a television show that would come on with Father Christmas sitting in his room in the toy shop in Hamilton, the capital city, and he would go through and read all the letters that he had received. And back in those days we had VHS, and we'd be waiting to hit the record button, and luckily my family name starts with a T, so I don't know if they arranged it in alphabetical order, but generally I wouldn't be the first one when he came to the group of letters from my school, so I could kind of work it out, and we'd hit record. Never watched them back, of course. I don't think we ever watched back these things, but we would always try and record them to listen to Father Christmas reading our letters, because I think my sister's school did it as well. But it was great fun. It was great fun. I remember my dad telling me, because of course, and kids, bear in mind, Santa Claus, Father Christmas, is a very busy person, so there are a lot of people who work for him that imitate him, and of course this particular one on television was an imitation. And my father was telling me once that he sat next to him on an aeroplane, and all the while he kept thinking, I know your voice, but I can't think, how do I know you? And then of course he revealed himself to be Bermuda's premier Father Christmas, which was kind of cool. So writing letters. Let me know in the comments if you wrote letters to Santa Claus or Father Christmas, or, as I say, whoever delivers your presents. Here in the Czech Republic, it's the Christkind, or the Crystalkind, or whatever you want to call him. They call him Ježíšek. It's a little baby Jesus who goes around delivering the presents on Christmas Eve, and the Czech children, they write letters to him, and the letters have to remain a secret, like what you put in the letters. You're not really supposed to tell people what you've written in them, and they leave them on the windowsill, and then they just disappear miraculously, and on the 24th their presents appear, which is wonderful. So let me know if you used to do that, or maybe your kids still do that, which is pretty cool. And I'm kind of really interested if you ever received any replies from Santa Claus or Father Christmas to any of your letters. One of the things I've been enjoying doing this month is looking at various Christmas collections in the public domain, and I came across a letter from Santa Claus. And it's a letter from Santa Claus to primarily the daughter, but I suppose we could say children, of a very famous American author of the late 19th century, who wrote under a pen name and shared that pen name with me. So Mark somebody actually shared the initial T. But you'll be able to guess from the opening line as to who I'm talking about. So why don't we have a look at this wonderful letter from Santa Claus? My dear Susie Clements. Hang on a second. Something not quite right about this. 1 second. There we go. That's much better, isn't it? I think so, anyway. So, my dear Susie Clements, I've received and read all the letters which you and your little sister have written me. I can read your and your baby sister's jagged and fantastic marks without any trouble at all. But I had trouble with those letters which you dictated through your mother and the nurses, for I am a foreigner and cannot read English writing well. You will find that I made no mistakes about the things which you and the baby ordered in your own letters. I went down your chimney at midnight when you were asleep and delivered them all myself, and kissed both of you too. But there were 1 or 2 small orders which I could not fill because we ran out of stock. There was a word or 2 in your mamma's letter which I took to be a trunk full of doll's clothes. Is that it? I will call at your kitchen door about 9 o'clock this morning to inquire, but I must not see anybody, and I must not speak to anybody but you. When the kitchen door bell rings, George must be blindfolded and sent to the door. You must tell George he must walk on tiptoe and not speak, otherwise he will die some day. Then you must go up to the nursery and stand on a chair or the nurse's bed and put your ear to the speaking tube that leads down to the kitchen, and when I whistle through it, you must speak in the tube and say, "Welcome, Santa Claus." Then I will ask whether it was a trunk you ordered or not. If you say it was, I shall ask you what colour you want the trunk to be, and then you must tell me every single thing in detail which you want the trunk to contain. Then, when I say goodbye and a Merry Christmas to my little Susie Clemens, you must say goodbye, good old Santa Claus. I thank you very much. Then you must go down into the library and make George close all the doors that open into the main hall, and everybody must keep still for a little while. I will go to the moon and get those things, and in a few minutes I will come down the chimney that belongs to the fireplace that is in the hall. If it is a trunk you want, because I couldn't get such a thing as a trunk down the nursery chimney, if I should leave any snow in the hall, you must tell George to sweep it into the fireplace, for I haven't time to do such things. George must not use a broom, but a rag, else he will die some day. If my boot should leave a stain on the marble, George must not wholly stone it away. Leave it there always in memory of my visit, and whenever you look at it or show it to anybody, you must let it remind you to be a good little girl. Whenever you are naughty or someone points to that mark which your good old Santa Claus's boot made on the marble, what will you say, little sweetheart? Goodbye for a few minutes till I come down to the world and ring the kitchen doorbell. Your loving Santa Claus, whom people sometimes call the Man in the Moon. Ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas. There we go. So there we have it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you worked out, of course, who the author of this wonderful little letter is. And also, I don't understand why they make these Santa Claus suits for such skinny people. I mean, he isn't a skinny person, yet it's a bit tight on me. I can't even do it up properly. There we go. I'll have to lay off the turkey at Christmas. Till next time, everybody, you take care.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And nature sing,